Folks, now a story you'll only hear in Scarborough country, perhaps the greatest untold story of September 11. The man the 9/11 Commission says is responsible for keeping the fifth hijacker off that flight. He's INS agent Jose Melendez. He joins us from Washington tonight. Mr. Melendez, welcome to Scarborough country.
Thank you, Michael. It's my pleasure.
Let us turn back the clock, sir. It's August the 4th. It's 2001. It's a month before the events of September 11. You were working where and what was your job?
I was working at Orlando International Airport as a secondary officer.
And on that particular day, a Saudi national comes before you for secondary screening. Why did Mohammed al-Qahtani come before you for secondary screening? What is it that had tripped up the security process?
When he came in front of the primary officer, he didn't have his form properly completed, which was his I-94 and his custom declaration form.
So some of the paperwork that one fills out before the plane is to land.
That is correct. And he also stated that he didn't speak any English, and because the primary officer could not communicate with him, she decided to send him to secondary inspection to complete the inspection.
So he comes before you, Jose Melendez. Had his luggage been searched?
Not at that time, sir.
When it was searched, was there anything unusual that was found in it?
Not that we know, no, sir.
You plugged his name into the computer. Did you get any hits?
No, sir. It was the first time that he was coming to the United States.
Okay, so there's nothing in the luggage that has aroused suspicion. There are no hits in the computer, but still, Mr. Melendez, you don't let the man into this country. Why not?
Well, first of all, I noticed that he didn't have a return ticket. Number one, he didn't have number two, he didn't have a hotel reservation. And when I went into the secondary room to get him to be interviewed and to complete the inspection, he gave me a dirty look and a challenging look that made the whole room be, so cold. You know, I mean, I thought there was something wrong. And, you know, I told myself, well, why this guy is looking at me like that? You know, is something wrong in here?
In other words, in Philadelphia, Mr. Melendez, we like to refer to the hairy eyeball. You gave the man the hairy eyeball, and he didn't pass the smell test.
That is correct.
I want to put up on the screen and show everybody what you said to the 9/11 Commission under oath on this. You said, when the subject looked at me, I felt a bone-chilling cold effect. The bottom line, he gave me the creeps. You just had to be present to understand what I'm trying to explain. So that really is what triggered your suspicion about this man, Mohammed al-Qahtani.
That is correct.
At the time that you were contemplating not allowing him into the United States, what was the advice of those around you?
Well, I have some of the officers that stated that I was going to get in trouble because he was a Saudi national, and we were supposed to treat them with a special care. However, I'd like to mention that that was before when we were in INS, and then when we became Customs and Border Protection on March of 2003, all those nonsense policies went out of the window. And now we have the mechanism in place and the directive from headquarters that anybody that is coming to this country and we suspect that is coming to do some harm, we will get him out of here. No problem at all.
But I think the point needs to be made clearly that at the time, and it's a month in advance of September 11, there was an element of political correctness at play here, was there not, Mr. Melendez?
That was correct.
You were being told that these Saudis, they have political clout, and be careful before you turn one of them around and send them home.
That is correct. That was a unwritten policy, but that was throughout the whole United States.
And nevertheless, you decided, no, I'm not comfortable letting this man into the country. Now, when you turn him around and put him on a flight, as I recall from your testimony, back to the UK and then on to Dubai, which is where he originated, right?
That is correct.
The man who apparently couldn't speak English looks at you and says what?
I'll be back.
So in a very Schwarzenegger-like way, all of a sudden he's found his command of the English language.
That is correct.
And Mr. Melendez, this man, Mohammed al-Qahtani, is back in this country, isn't he?
Yes, sir. He's in Guantanamo right now.
And he's in Guantanamo, why?
Because he was caught in Afghanistan fighting with the Taliban when we invaded Afghanistan.
He was caught in the Battle of Tora Bora, and now he's in Guantanamo Bay, where they refer to him, I think, as Detainee 063. And perhaps some of the folks from Scarborough country will recall he was profiled on the cover of Time magazine last summer. Now, a very significant aspect of this story, the 9/11 Commission reassembles the telephone records of Mohammed Atta after the events of September 11, and they're able to figure out what, Mr. Melendez?
That Mohammed Atta was waiting for Mr. Qahtani upstairs in the airport in Orlando.
So you're at the Orlando International Airport on August 4, 2001. September 11 has not occurred. Did you even know who Osama bin Laden was? Did you even know who Al-Qaeda was as of that time?
I don't have any recollection or know anything about it, if I'll be honest with you.
I mean, the point that I want to make is, you know, now those words just spill off of our tongues, but at that particular time, nobody knew who Al-Qaeda or bin Laden were, but you nevertheless kept him out. The 9/11 Commission then determines that Mohammed Atta was there to pick this man up, and that's the basis for the belief that he was to have been the fifth terrorist on board Flight 93. True?
That is correct.
All right. Now I want to read to everybody on Scarborough country the words of Richard Ben-Veniste, one of the 9/11 Commission members who told you in the day you testified, quote, taking into account that the only plane commandeered by 4 hijackers rather than 5 crashed before reaching its target, it's entirely plausible to suggest that your actions in doing your job efficiently and competently may well have contributed to saving the Capitol or the White House. In other words, Mr. Melendez, the 9/11 Commission came to the view that that building, sir, which is over your right shoulder, arguably you protected by your actions 1 month in advance of September 11.
Yes, sir. That's what he'd say.
You're a great American, Mr. Melendez. What are the lessons of your exchange?
You said again? Sorry.
What are the lessons of your interaction with Mohammed al-Qahtani? What should we take away from this, apart from not being politically correct?
Well, Michael, I think that we have learned the lesson since we became Customs and Border Protection. We took care of all those nonsense policies that were referring to be treating some countries in a special way. Right now, we have only one set of rules, and that set of rules mean that anybody that we think that is coming to this country to do any harm or to add to the population of illegal immigrants, that we have the mechanism to get them out. Fortunately, headquarters, CBP has provided us with all the mechanism and all the support that we need to accomplish our mission. Also, we have a great training program in which we are going in the right direction to ensure that what happened doesn't happen again, and we learned the lesson, and we have to be thankful for that.
Jose Melendez, you're one of the great heroes of September 11, and we're privileged to have you in Scarborough country.
It is my pleasure, and thank you for the invitation, sir.